What's up, gamers? It's your host, Cobra, and today we've got a parallel pack drop number 3 pack opening for you. Same as with Pack Drop 2, Pack Drop 3 featured a massive increase in supply, which coincided with a massive decrease in the overall floor of the project. However, not a problem in this particular case, even though typically this type of secondary activity would be a major red flag. So today we are going to take a look at a total of 4 packs. However, I only managed to get 2 of them recorded for you. I was a little too excited when the first 2 arrived and popped them open with my friends. So we're just going to take a look at the results of those packs. There was nothing terribly exciting in the first couple anyhow. Then we will actually open up the 3rd and 4th. Packs number 1 and 2 were interesting because we didn't get anything good, which doesn't make it terribly interesting. However, we did get some usable cards, and what I mean by that is cards that I intend to keep and potentially use in a future deck. Now, I intend to play a Shroud deck, which means that I am collecting Shroud cards and Universal cards, and out of the first 20 from our first 2 packs, we managed to get 4 Shroud cards and 4 Universal cards. That means 8 of the 20, or 40% of our pulls, will be useful in game. So let's take a look at those first 2 packs. Total of 20 cards. We got 18 individual cards, 2 duplicates, and this was moderately successful. From an odds standpoint, we literally couldn't have done worse on these packs. Our tier 1 pull in each case was a first edition rare. That's the worst you could do. None of our tier 2 pulls were anything other than uncommon first editions, and we got a bunch of commons as well. One thing that you're going to note is that the value of these cards is essentially 0. And that's because they are not being airdropped to our wallets anymore. They are now put into a vault, and we are able to move them to our wallet at our leisure. That is a cost-effective way for the team to do it because it keeps the cost of gas on the player side instead of on their side. They were charging for that previously. Now it's something that we are paying ourselves. And because the cost of gas is typically going to be higher than the value of these cards are to sell, that makes them essentially worthless. However, every single one of these is going to help us earn Prime tokens, and they're all usable in-game. Hopefully, we'll find a way to trade out some of the non-Shroud cards that we are not going to use in our deck to get more Shrouds that we don't have, but that might prove costly with gas. However, eventually Parallel is going to move to a layer 2 solution, and when that happens, it means that we will be able to do gasless transactions, and these cards will start to have some actual value again. It's not going to be a lot until some time passes and we start having some 2nd and 3rd edition cards that will sit below these even. However, they will eventually go up in value and be worth something. So if you're feeling a little bit down about your results, you just need to hold for a little bit, and eventually you'll get the value that you paid for in these packs. The things that we are most excited about in this pack are primarily the Universals that we pulled. Squad Trailer is very cool. I didn't have an EMP Shockwave. Smuggled Supplies is another new one, and I had sold my Rug Pulls. It was interesting to get Rug Pull because this was a faucet card that was given away for free, so not that exciting to pull in a pack, but it is a useful card, or we think it will be a useful card. And as I said, I didn't have any more copies of it because previously the ones from the faucet did get to a pretty high price point. The other one that I am quite excited about is Mind Twister is a really cool piece of art and a new card that we didn't have in our collection. So while this one is not rare at all, it is a cool one to add to the collection. So here is pack number 3, and the first one that we recorded on video. This one isn't terribly exciting either, as we didn't get great pulls here, but we did get some more useful cards, which is nice. This was another universal, the Squad Trader, which we saw in the first pack as well, but another useful one. And we don't know how many of each card you'll be allowed to put in your deck, so duplicates of ones that you want might not necessarily be a bad thing at all. We didn't have the Void Crystal. This isn't new, but another Shroud card that we rather like, so now we've got a couple of them. We're going to open up a couple more commons and uncommons. This one is a new card in the Shroud collection, the Nullifier Acolyte, and it's maybe my favorite card. So while this version isn't very rare, it is an exciting piece of art to add to our collection. This Grove Altrust, we've pulled a few times in pack drop number 3, so not too exciting. We did already have the Shroud Demolecularize, and the rare that we pulled is Commandeered Warship. It's a universal, so that one is at least potentially going to be useful in our deck. And let's wrap things up with our 4th and final pack. Technically, this was actually the 3rd pack that we opened up, but it's the only one that included an exciting pull, so I switched up the order for this video. However, you're going to get to see the intro to the pack opening experience, and I just wanted to add here that the pack opening experience that Parallel provided this time around was tremendous. So here we go. This is the intro to the pack opening, and it's a very cool graphic. Now granted, this is all happening off-chain, which makes it a little bit easier, but I don't understand why more projects don't utilize that type of approach, because it's a lot of fun. And what you can see I'm doing here is checking the rarity of each one, because purple and blue are common and uncommon first edition cards. Those are the ones we want to open up first. The first one that I scrolled over had a red indicator, which means that it is a perfect loop. Perfect loops are very cool. They're not necessarily more rare than their SE counterparts. However, they're animated, so that makes them much, much cooler. Now, we pulled a few of this particular Earth card. You're going to see another one here in just a second. And we had them in our previous pack as well. So that's a little bit disappointing, but that's what you get with random pack openings. The Kumai Protector, not a card we'll be able to use, but very cool art, and I had to check that one out. Here we are getting a rare first edition from a tier 2 slot. That's the best we did from any of our tier 2 slots. And while this card isn't terribly valuable, it's a little bit better odds and rarity than we could have pulled. And finally, for our very last card, we got the Augencore Upcycled Technology Perfect Loop. I believe this is a new card. It is a very cool one because this is essentially showing what looks like a key changing into a gun, which fits the Augencore theme and makes for a very cool perfect loop. So 40 cards, 39 of them essentially worthless today. Seems like a disappointing result, but I'm actually happy. And I'll tell you why. First, the one good pull is a perfect loop, and I didn't have any perfect loops. It's an animated card that's very cool. Even though it doesn't fit my deck, I'm going to hold on to it until I can at least swap it for, say, a Shroud perfect loop or maybe a Universal perfect loop. That would be a little bit more useful. But I really want to have a perfect loop from the Genesis set of cards, and now we have one. The other reason why I'm not too concerned with the current floor price of these cards is because eventually we are going to move to a layer 2 solution like Polygon or Immutable X. And when that happens, then transacting these NFTs will become gasless, and therefore it will make some sense to actually buy and sell them. Now, there's still a huge supply, so it's not going to be worth $100 or $200 per card or anything crazy like that, at least not anytime soon. However, we've seen with Guild of Guardians that it is absolutely possible to put out a huge supply and retain some real value for all of the NFTs so long as we aren't paying that Ethereum gas. And they've done that on Immutable X. That would be my recommendation for the Parallel team as well. But there are other good solutions out there as well. And as long as they find a layer 2 that can scale and support the size of this game, then we're going to be in really good shape. One thing I didn't necessarily call out during the pack opening was that the perfect loop we pulled is a rare perfect loop, which means it's 1 of 500, and that's better than the floor for a perfect loop. Even still, that card is trading for about 0.2 Ethereum today, and we spent 0.3 Ethereum on the 4 packs in total, so we still haven't even broken even if we take that card out of our vault and sell it. However, I do expect that that price should improve at least a little bit because the perfect loops are not oversupplied and tend to be some of the most desirable cards in the entire set. So there's room to expect at least a little bit of improvement. However, I thought that about a bunch of the SEs that I was holding on to after pack drop 2, and it really didn't happen. So temper your expectations, and if you really need to sell some stuff, I would sell it fairly quickly because there's not going to be anything terribly exciting to cause a pump in the near future, at least that we can forecast here on the Freeroll. We hope you found this video valuable, and if you did, consider giving us a follow on Twitter. That's where I love to talk about play and earn games and interact with all of my subscribers and fans. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button for us. It really helps support the channel.